Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, as usual, I'd like to thank everyone for their attendance and the minutes and reflect the role of the various trustees and staff. Let's move on to item 3. I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the 6-7 Village Board, the 6-7 Committee of the Whole, and file the 5-3 Finance Committee, the 5-10 Board of Public Works, 5-12 Architectural Review Board meeting minutes as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. As always, comments, questions, clarifications on the minutes.
I have one, Mr. President. On the second page of the June 7th board meeting minutes, the last paragraph, where trustee Hubbard mentioned the administrative review, I believe she had asked if it was going to be reviewed within 30 days, and you never gave that, so if the minutes will note that.
I don't remember that. No,
She asked if it was going to be within 30 days.
no, I said my information to her was in an email.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said my response, I responded to her email, and she needed, the information that she requested was in the email.
Oh,
I mean, that's my opinion. If you guys heard that, or if you thought that was in it, then that's fine. We can add it.
well, she's here, you could ask her.
Yeah. Lisa,
Go ahead, Lee.
hi. There's just a quick question in the minutes. Under the administrative review, Amy asked if we could add that you had requested that we would have this within 30 days.
Yes, and I think you had then said something about maybe finance instead of a board meeting.
So it's put it into the minutes then. Okay, any other additions or corrections? All right, that being said, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Item 4, anybody in the audience wishing to be heard on a non-agenda item? Move on to item 5, any materials been presented in normal fashion. Let's move on to item 6, resolutions, ordinance, action items. Item A, report of the Finance Committee. Item 1 is a motion to recommend the village board approve the reclassification of recreation, public works, utility laborers from pay grade 4 to pay grade 7, and the engineering intern from pay grade 6 to pay grade 8 of the village of Grafton classification structure for seasonal employees to be implemented immediately upon the hiring of additional labor and engineering staff be approved.
I make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, motion second. I think everybody was pretty much in attendance at the last finance, so any questions on that?
Anything developed from this new pricing?
It would be advertised first thing tomorrow.
Right now.
I need a board approval before I could advertise it, so it'll go live tomorrow as far as the updated pay scale being advertised.
Okay, motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 2 is a motion to recommend the village board approve reallocation of funds from the capital equipment fund to the unbudgeted purchase of equipment necessary to respond to civil unrest not to exceed $15,000 be approved.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. Motion second. Chief made a pretty good presentation at the last finance. Any questions for him? Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Let's move on to the report of the Board of Public Works. Item 1 is a motion to award project 2105 microsurface village roads to Struck and Irwin Paving of DeForest, Wisconsin for a contract cost of $37,370.64 be approved.
I'll make the motion. I'll second them.
Okay, so we had a motion second, a lot of good information in the minutes. Because they had any questions for Amber? You want to give a 30 seconds, the difference between micro and slurry?
Sure. So we put out a bid for slurry surface as well as a micro surface. Slurry has been around a lot longer. Micro surface is a newer product that I thought may be too expensive for our budget, but it did come in just slightly higher than slurry. So I think it's a product that more and more are using. I believe Mequon has used it most recently, and it should last 2 or 3 years longer than the slurry seal. So.
Okay. Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 2 is a motion to approve the proposal from Harleen Tronka, 1435 Bobolink Avenue for treatment of the pond at Bobolink Avenue and Highland Drive at a cost of $402 be approved.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion second, again, good information in the minutes. I think the comment on slippery slope was well noted. Any comments, questions on this item?
So yeah, I just want to further comment about that. I took another look, I went over there. It's really, not an area that a lot of regular citizens are going to benefit from. It is an area that the citizens who live right there are going to benefit from. So I do think that if we start doing this, and this is a 50-50, although they're paying a little more to the DNR, I think it does open up a can of worms. I could understand if it was in an open area where many citizens are walking. That's not the case. So I'm in favor of this, but I'm not in favor of necessarily, making this, the poster board for everything. But we have to consider every request that comes to us then. I mean, and year after year after year, this is a 1-year thing. So maybe we have to look at this again next year if we approve it next year. So I'm really on the fence, but I just want everybody to understand this.
Yeah, I too went past the pond and, they've done a lot of things to make this their home a lakefront property, so to speak. While I applaud what they've done, I think, again, I'm going to vote no on this because I don't believe this is something we should do before we have a process in place, before we have a plan in place for the other retention ponds. And I kind of thought this is that if we do this year, are they going to come back and want it to be done next year? Because this is going to be an ongoing problem. Plus, this is not just a stream fed pond. This is a retention pond, and it's taking the drainage from the rest of the neighborhood through large culverts, which of course are going to be filled up with phosphates from lawn fertilization, and it's just going to get green again.
There are comments, Steve?
Are there any other situations that people addressed to the community with their concerns with their ponds?
I have not heard this much concern. These residents have contacted me. This is probably the 3rd year in a row requesting this, but there have been a couple of other ponds where residents have, made at least initial contact asking if we would do anything, and we haven't.
So if this gets out, you're probably getting more, and that's what bothers me.
Yes.
And Amber, I brought that one
Right.
retention pond to your attention off of Cedar and Cherokee.
Yep.
West of Cherokee,
Right.
where I had a resident. What can we do about the algae? And you were kind enough to respond, we need rain. That's a big deal as far as. So we may get some blowback from other.
Correct.
Yeah, so in response to Jim asking you about that second detention pond.
Yes.
Who puts the aerator in there and who pays for that?
Right. I don't know that we've put any aerators in, but I do not know all the history on it.
Did you walk over there and look at the whole setup with the electrical and everything?
Oh, and the pond we're talking about?
Yeah, no, the pond that Jim just referred
Oh,
to.
no, I don't know anything about how
Okay.
electrical looks.
Okay, I can talk to you about that later.
Okay.
Any other comments? Yes,
Sure, I'll make a comment, and this is one I made at Public Works, in that what they've done there and the work that they've done, the background is commendable. I do agree with the comments about not wishing to set a precedent, but when it comes to stormwater management and our retention ponds in this village, we don't do anything other than what is absolutely required by DNR, but yet we've got situations where I think eventually we're going to have to do something in terms of treatment, in terms of reducing algae and the duckweed that we see in this particular pond as well as others around the village. I'm not saying or suggesting that we're going to promote and advertise that this one is done, and for $402, it just seemed like a no-brainer in terms of let's do something to try to improve, if not all, at least start with one. If the requests start to come in, then definitely we need to sit down and develop a process for dealing with these in the future. And eventually, I think we're going to have to budget for this particular effort with our stormwater, because when you say we need rain, what do you think happens to all that stuff? It goes out into the river. And what kind of stormwater management is that?
So I think the one statement that you make that really resonates with me is at some point we're gonna have to make a policy. I think, to be honest, I'd rather see that policy or direction be kind of determined and formulated before we would do such a thing like this. I get it, the money is not necessarily a huge amount of money, but the next one could be, right?
This could be the trigger though.
Right. So I mean,
Otherwise, we may go on like this for another 10 years.
but I mean, I guess where I would, my suggestion would be, I would like to see, we table this back and to Public Works or whatever committee you feel is appropriate to start looking at, what should that policy be? What should we do with stormwater ponds and things like
Okay,
that?
and then let me just piggyback on that thought in that maybe we should do a survey of how many other communities provide or include this as part of their stormwater management treatment of their ponds. We heard from the Trunkas at the Board of Public Works meeting that Menominee Falls does already. How many other communities are out there that do this? We can start with that and then determine how soon we need to come up with a policy or a process to work with these ponds and private property owners.
I'll entertain a question from the motion and the second, if they would like to table this, and do we actually do those two components? We do a survey, and depending on the results of the survey, do we need to develop a stormwater pond management plan policy?
I'll make that motion.
I mean, I guess it'd be a withdrawal.
You've got
So
a
it's-
pending motion, so either the
Tom
movement
and
and
Jim.
the second can
Correct.
agree to amend their motion or
Or-
withdraw their
or
motion,
withdraw.
or you can vote on the motion.
What do you wish? Do you want to withdraw or do you want to go to vote?
It's trustee Krieger and trustee Miller.
Excuse me?
I'm sorry, trustee Krieger made the motion, trustee Miller
You-
the second.
Do you just want to go ahead and what you want to go to vote or do you want to withdraw?
I would say let's go to vote.
I entertain a motion to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Show of hands, all in favor? 1, 2, 3, all against? 1, 2, 3. So this motion fails. I'll entertain a motion to do a survey and potential study of stormwater management for retention ponds.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Oh, was that an A?
No, I'll take it back. I'm
Okay.
in favor of it, yes.
All right, so let's go ahead and Amber, you want to cue that one up?
Sure.
Thank you. And can you then get in contact with,
Yep, I will follow up with her.
okay, let them know that, yes, we take their issue seriously, and we're gonna- but we want to develop a comprehensive policy that would apply to everybody here.
Man, so it'll be interesting. I mean, it's not a lot of money for their neighborhood to actually do, to pay for it. And to me, the big, caveat would be to see how well this works. Let's see them treat it and pay all the money, because we didn't authorize it now, and see if it really works, because it may not. And we don't know about the company. I mean, they did all the initial investigation.
Sure.
So that might be something we need to do more investigation.
However, I think we know it does work because the company that provided the pricing for the Trunkas is doing the work for Menominee Falls and others. And I believe that strongly suggests or implies it's working.
Oh, yeah, these things work.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Okay, any other comments? I kind of put this one to bed. All right, let's move on to item 3, and that is a motion to approve the agreement with the Wisconsin Department of Transportation providing up to a $20,000 grant to reimburse for EVP, I think that was emergency vehicles, something.
Preemption.
Detector installation at State Highway 16 intersections with Cheyenne and 17th be approved. That's part of the Highway 60, I-43 improvement project.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 4 is a motion to approve or change directive number 1 be approved. I think that was some,
It was all credits,
and it was.
From the wastewater
budget
treatment.
and cable.
It works project. Yep.
Okay, that motion,
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Item 5 is a motion to approve the Bridge Street Lift Station tributary area infiltration and inflow study with MSA Professional Services for a total cost not to exceed $43,700. Be approved.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Motion is second. Did I see somewhere up to 42% of water coming
I believe
into
that was the
waterway
number.
is infill or infiltration?
In
Really?
this area.
And in follow-up, I did get an email I requested from Larry Roy, the past peaking factors that we've seen, so that we know if 42% is a fluke number or something that's consistent with prior years. And what he's showing in his research is that from 2015, it was 1.4, 1.3, 2016, 1.3, 1.3, 1.2. So it's in that neighborhood of 20 to 40%.
Wow. Seems like a lot.
It sounds like a lot, but it's just a number, and it's no different than many, if not most, other communities
Yes.
in the state and in the country for that matter.
Yes. All of my professional stops, I&I has been a significant issue and problem to address. I would concur.
Okay, motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 6 is the resolution to offer a motion is second, accepting the 2020 compliance maintenance annual report and submittal of the report electronically to the DNR as required to be adopted.
I'll offer.
I'll motion.
Second.
Proper motion second, numbers came back again, looking really good. Congratulations, everybody that's been water and wastewater. Any questions on this? Dave?
Could you give Larry a kudos for the good job he put together?
For sure. Yeah, his first time going through it. Yes, thank you.
Offer motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That resolution passes. Item 7 is a motion to enter into a contractual agreement with Vizu Sewer of Pewaukee, Wisconsin, to provide sanitary sewer rehabilitation services related to the Falls Road 5th Avenue and North Pine Street replacement work in the not to exceed amount of $147,861.35. Be approved.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Questions on that item? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Item 8 is a motion to enter a contractual agreement with Great Lakes TV Seal Incorporated, Green Bay, Wisconsin, to provide a sanitary sewer mainline cleaning and televising services in the amount of $28,860. Be approved.
I'll make the motion. Or
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Item 7, President and Officers Report. Jesse, want to start?
Sure. A few items for the village board this evening. Representative Deb Andraka was originally scheduled to appear this evening just for a brief introductory statement and an update on the state budget process. Unfortunately, I was contacted today. She did have a scheduling conflict, unable to attend this evening, but she will look to attend a future meeting to do just that as far as an introduction and an update on the state budget. I was, let's see here, also able to confirm today that there are no pressing business items coming out of the committee meetings at the tail end of this month. So we will look to cancel that first village board meeting in July. July 4th falls on Sunday. July 5th is the observed holiday, that being the first Monday of July. If there were business items, we could have a meeting on July 6th. However, there is nothing pressing and forthcoming. So that said, I would look to work with the clerk's office on a cancellation. So therefore, our next village board meeting would be July 19th. The Giro de Grafton held this weekend went very well. The stakeholders involved, the local stakeholders involved, will be having a debriefing meeting next week to discuss what went well, what are some things we could work on, and where we might improve the overall process. We have a handful of new names and faces involved with the setup process. So this is a really good opportunity. And then there, also the 18-month lag due to COVID-19 and the cancellation last year. Just looking to revisit and kind of Monday morning quarterback the event and see what, if any, improvements we can make. So overall, though, it went very well this weekend and very positively received. Last update, unfortunately, the pool was closed today due to the cool temperatures and wind. The diving board platforms are in the process of being sandblasted this week, and we are quite hopeful that we'd be able to get those back and have an engineer's review of the structural integrity of those by the end of the week. That review will tell us, are we looking at repairs or replacements of those base platforms for the diving boards. That said, they do remain closed for the time being. That is my update this evening.
Amber, Chief, anything you wish to add? Okay, open up the board. Amy?
Amber, I want to pass on residents on the corner of Cedar and Falls Road. Said thank you for trimming back the trees for the pedestrian walkway. They
Sure.
said several of the neighbors also agreed, so.
Okay, we're gonna maybe take the tree down, but we'll see if it stays high enough to see the sign.
And
So,
then one more, those 4 trees around, I think is it the AT&T little thing that's on Falls Road, right across kind of where Charlie lives?
Mhm.
They're all dead. They were dead last year too. Is that an AT&T box there?
Possibly.
Because I see
Yeah,
an
I'm not sure
AT&T
whose box
truck
that is.
there.
I've never been over there.
All
It
4
may
of
be.
those are dead. Like, I feel like if you take a match, they're going,
Right.
yeah.
I'll
That
try
would
to
not
follow
be
up
good.
on that.
Sounds like
Okay.
an idea.
Amber,
Yes,
the 17th Avenue lift station looks a lot nicer with the fence and the trees
I've
around.
not gotten over there to
Thank
see
you.
it, but I'm glad to know it looks good.
Don't you agree, Lisa?
So the only question I had about that is it looks nice around 3 sides. And then the front is not covered at all.
Nope, it can't be, because we have to drive our vehicles in there and our jet truck. and
So, you know, there's still 2 residents who live on the other side of the street that can see that. Right. Yeah. So,
But there are little shrubs there. I mean, in that.
not in the front. No, yeah. No,
Not
not
on
in
the
the front.
street.
Just on 3 sides.
Tell them to look on the sides then. Don't look straight on, look at the side.
No, it does look very nice.
All right, Jim.
Amber, shout out to Dave and Mike for the work they did on Saturday.
Thank you. Awesome, I will pass that on.
Okay, Lisa?
And then Jesse, if we're gonna forego the first village board meeting, then I'm assuming we might have finance on July
Absolutely.
19th also.
Yes, we will.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry, can I comment? We're still gonna have operators licenses to approve on July 6th.
I had asked about that and Carmen said we did not.
On July 5th.
We will.
Okay, then I retract. I will revisit with the clerk's office to find out about that July 6th meeting. The information I had received indicated we did not have any coming forward, but apparently it appears we might. So I will check on that and let the board know.
Item 8 licenses, the annual stuff, the operator's license are all kind of due at this time of year. I'll just entertain a motion for items A, B, C, and D.
I'll make the motion.
Second,
Comments, questions on any of the licenses? They're all contingent on all of the inspections and taxes being paid, so I think that's all covered.
Any question, I have a question about these 2 who are outstanding their personal property taxes. Will you be informed when they pay those? You will be?
I'm sorry, will who be involved?
Yeah, the police department. Because right now they won't get their license if they don't pay their property taxes.
Right, any establishments that fail to pass their fire inspections or their, pay their personal property taxes and do not have their license picked up by July 1st will be visited by the police department.
And once they do meet that, do they pay a fine for those days extra?
That is up to the police department, whether they want to issue a citation or not.
Okay.
I think it's, in my opinion, it's best to issue
We'll
a
likely
warning.
seek voluntary compliance on the first go round, and then if we have to revisit, then we'll look at enforcement action.
Comments? Motion a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 9 is for the bills. Entertain a motion for the approval of those expenditures, $1,696,269.45.
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion a second, there was some back and forth, answering some questions, anything that is remaining to be asked or answered. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Item 10, motion to adjourn.
make the motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
We are